You're watching the 2020 SCAC Spring Media Days. Today we're taking a look into the Centenary College men's and women's golf programs. The ladies, of course, coming off a 5th place finish last year at the SCAC Championships, while the gents coming off a 6th place finish at the same tournament. Centenary will once again be led as they head into the season by head coach Emlyn Aubrey, along with senior Taylor Wells on the men's side and senior Shannon Orlopp on the women's side. Coach, Taylor, Shannon, thanks so much for joining us today.
Thank you for having us.
Thanks for having us.
Coach, we'll begin with you. As you enter a new season, what are some of the biggest challenges that you face at the start of a new year, and how do you attack those challenges to make sure your teams are as prepared as they possibly can be heading into the season?
Well, I think everybody has the issue of the holiday break. From the time we finish the season in the fall, late October, all the way through basically 1st of February is a pretty long break for golfers. So we definitely have to shake the rust off right now. Weather's up and down quite a bit since we've been back to school. So I think that's the main thing, just kind of get that feel back in their hands with the short game and get that timing back with their long game. And that's pretty much the main issues that we have. Also, again, fighting the weather. Just got good days and bad days, and even though we have some indoor facilities to use, it's still not the same as being out on the grass. So we've got enough time, though. We start next week with the guys, and I think they'll be ready.
Taylor, you enter your senior season. You're a part of a pretty special group there at Centenary. I think you have a senior class of 5. How special does it make it to have a large senior class like that? And how are you and your classmates kind of embracing that senior leadership and mentality going into the year?
I think it's just a process of kind of enjoying the ride. I mean, it's fun to reflect on the 4 years of going to tournaments together, practicing. And I think given that it's our last semester of playing college golf, I think in some ways it can kind of take the pressure off us by just trying to relax a bit, just enjoy the ride, basically.
Shannon, as a senior leader yourself, coming out of the fall season with your team, what were a couple of things that maybe really impressed you that gives you and the rest of your teammates confidence going into this spring semester?
I think for us in the fall, we battled through a lot of injuries or illnesses, but we still were able to compete at our best level. We had some ups and we had some downs, but I'm excited to see where we go because we keep working hard and battling through those adversities.
Coach, golf sort of traditionally is an individual sport, but in our arena here at the college level, it becomes a team competition. How do you sort of combine all the different, individual skill sets, personalities, and get everybody kind of on the same page and incorporate that team mentality with your teams?
Well, I think any good coach would tell you that every individual, again, being an individual sport, everybody is taught and takes to teaching it a little bit differently, with each person. So, again, that's something a coach needs to find out for each player that he or she has, and just kind of go with that. Some people you may tell somebody one way to do something and trying to get somebody else to do the same thing. It's different wording. So it's just some of the stuff you got to learn about your players as you go on through the 4 years that they're here. It's challenging sometimes. Some obviously listen better than others, and some take instruction better than others. But it's just something we have to do as a coach. And if the sooner you can do that, I think the sooner the player's going to reach their potential, while they're here at college. So that's just some of the stuff we go through. Again, some players have other strengths and weaknesses that you got to work on more. They may not necessarily like some of the weaknesses they have. So again, that's why they have their strengths. They work on those. They don't like some other parts of their game, and that's why those parts are weak. But again, we as coaches, we got to work on those weak parts to make that player well-rounded throughout the game, throughout the round of golf.
Taylor, Coach talks about strengths in individuals' games. For you, as you head into this semester, is there a part of your game where, if it's clicking early and around, whether it's off the tee, long irons, short irons, around the green, where if it's really clicking, if it's working well, it kind of gives you a little bit of extra confidence knowing that you have the chance to have a special afternoon?
Yeah, I think for the longest time, and Emlyn can attest to this, I've really struggled off the tee lately, but I've kind of gotten that part of my game turned around in a positive direction now. And typically, if I first tee, if I can, hit one down the middle of the fairway, that takes a lot of pressure off myself, because in the past, it's always been kind of a, question in my head is where's the ball going to go, as opposed to like already knowing where it's going to go. So I think like going into this season, like I'm a lot more confident with the driver off the tee shots, because in the past that's what really like threw off my whole game for the most part.
Shannon, similarly for you, you're coming off a junior season in which you were second on the team at the SCAC championships, a couple of rounds in the 90s. What have you worked on in your game over the course of the offseason through the fall to try and continue to strengthen that and make sure you're as prepared as you possibly can be going into your senior year?
This year I've definitely been working on consistency on all shots, both long game and short game. Mostly, like Taylor said, working off the tee, getting it in the fairway, not getting myself in trouble when I can keep myself out of trouble, and then just getting my short game going early, and so I'm not having to worry about, am I going to make this putt on a green that's important. So just working on consistency for me.
Coach, I feel like oftentimes we talk about the idea of simulating tournament or competitive rounds in practice. How do you go about that with your teams and trying to sort of putting pressure on your athletes to sort of get as close as you possibly can to sort of those simulated situations, to when it comes time in the tournament rounds, it doesn't feel quite as ratcheted up?
I think the main thing that I do is I tell them to take all rounds that we play as qualifying rounds. Some know that they're not necessarily qualifying because they know they're going to go to tournaments, but I don't necessarily say that to them. I say, hey, we're going to qualify. Send me a score after you finish. So I think that's the main thing. They'll play some little match play events, or not events, but match play rounds against an opponent and other team members to try to keep that competitive edge a little bit, but. Mainly, I just tell them, hey, give me a score when it's finished. I want to see some good stuff when I get that scorecard.
Finally, wrap things up with Taylor and Shannon. As you've had conversations with your teammates about some of the goals and expectations heading into this 2020 season, what have those conversations looked like, and what are some of the goals for your teams as you head into this season?
I guess on the men's side, obviously the long-term goal is to win a conference championship, but to not get not getting too far ahead of ourselves. We want to take each tournament at a time. So obviously with this tournament coming up next week, we want to do the best we can to get ourselves a nice, comfortable, top 3 finish.
And I think for us on the women's side, we're all working towards bettering ourselves individually to help our team overall. So we're all hoping to do and play our best all at the same time, hopefully, because in the fall it was kind of up and down, but we want to get together on the same page and let's all play our best on those same days.
And Coach, to wrap things up with you, this season is successful if what plays out on the course for both your men's and women's programs. What are you looking for from these two teams as they kind of continue to take steps in the right direction and continue to build the programs that you're putting together there in Shreveport?
Yes, on the guys' side, we had a good fall. We finally got some consistent scores for a few tournaments, so that's been a little lacking over the last couple of years, but they really got some good vibes, I think, going from the fall from some of our results. So again, we're just going to try to carry that through, get through some the tough weeks here with the weather, get some practice in, and the first tournament, it's a match play event at Howard Payne, so match play, you don't necessarily have to have every hole is a great hole, but again, like Taylor said, just kind of get some momentum going and just keep what we had going in the fall into the spring, and hopefully peak at the right time with the conference championship. As far as our ladies, same thing as Shannon said, just some consistency. We just we haven't put all 4 or 5 rounds together as a team, so unfortunately we just have 4 players at the moment, so we do have to count all 4 scores. So we just need a consistency, trying to put all 4 of those scores together, and again, like golf is, add them up at the end, see where we finish up each tournament. And if it's not good, we're gonna have fun, and if it is good, we're gonna have fun. So either way, we're gonna have a good time out there and travel some places, see some things, play some good golf along the way, and get them out of here graduating with a good experience overall.
The Centenary College men's and women's golf programs. Again, Centenary will open up this season as the gents open up the Howard Payne Invitational on February 13th. The ladies will open up their season at the OU Invite in the beginning of March. Centenary will again be led as they head into the season are the guys head coach Emlyn Aubrey, along with senior Taylor Wells on the men's side and senior Shannon Orlopp on the women's side. Coach Taylor, Shannon, thanks so much for your time today and best of luck as you head into the season.
Thank you.
Thank you.